Okay. Hi guys. I'm talking to you from home, and welcome to all of you. And the good thing is we know some of you, like Dini, right? And also we have met some of you. Some of you have studied Baba with us. Uh, but I thought it's good to talk to you about the current situation, right? And how we see things moving forward, and also to kind of set the scene for all of you. And how do you manage the next 1 year? I think that's more important. um, and we take a lot of interest in our students. You're not a number, or you're not a just a name in a register, but the real journey starts now, right? Until you go to the graduation and even beyond. So it's a very the family atmosphere that we have. um, Family means our connections are very strong, and uh, and we want you to really prosper. That's one of our key things, because uh, there are lots of places where you can do a master's, and you have selected us, and you have selected next campus for a reason. And for that we want to really kind of uh, thank you, and also we want to give our kind of best to you in the next 1 year. So when I look at this, right, all of you know that we haven't had this kind of change ever. Even our parents don't know about this, right? Possibly after 100 years we are having it, or after World War II. We have never shut down Sri Lanka. Even during war, we never shut down Sri Lanka. I mean, there was not a time that we said, you can't celebrate New Year, you can't celebrate Vesak. We have never had that, right? So we are in a real inflection point, or what we call a break point, right? And we were continuing like this, and suddenly it's a change, right? We will never continue like this ever again. It's a big shift, right? Big shift. And this is what we call an inflection point or a break point, where things change. And when we talk to everyone, everyone's talking about the new norm, but no one knows what the new norm is. But everyone's talking about new norm, but we don't know, right? What we know is everyone will work differently and smarter into the future, because travel might get restricted, other things might get restricted, but still we want to work through in a different way. And while majority says, I will wait and see, you guys have said no, it's now. So that's a difference. While others are saying, let's wait and see, you're saying no, it's now. We need to do something about this. So that's why we want to first kind of congratulate you for this, and say, this is the right thing to do, right? This is the right thing to do. And when you think of Sri Lanka, and some of you are living outside the country, but I mean, all of you are Sri Lankans, we are not in a very good shape. We are somewhere here, right? We are not in a very good shape. We are like number 66, right, among developing nations also. So, I mean, if you look at some of the countries that are on top here, we are really embarrassed about it, where we are. The more red means we are more in deep financial trouble. And therefore, I feel the hope is you. I mean, you can't expect my government will look after me. I mean, if you're in Australia, you can say, yeah, government will look after me. Here, no chance in hell, right? They will not look after you. And lower you are in the food chain or hierarchy, you'll be thrown around. Restructuring, all of that will come in and it will impact you because you're lower there, right? And we have to make sure you guys are ready for this new battle, new things that are changing, and current skill set may not be the new skill set that everyone wants. So you should be really ready to thrive locally or globally, whichever opportunity comes to you. Now, somebody like Dimi can say, I want to come back to Sri Lanka. No, I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Canada. But I think the key thing is, do you have options open, right? That's a very important thing in life. To be powerful, you need to have options open, right? Uh, when things go bad, if people say, sing for that person, unfortunate, pity, these things are good to say, but you can only help others if you're powerful, right? I have realized it, I mean, myself, I have realized it. If I'm powerful, I can help others. If I'm not powerful, I can only say, sin in vain, pity. I feel sorry for that person, right? But the whole idea is, how do you become powerful? How do you become more relevant into the future? I think that's the right word, relevant. Are you relevant now, right? So that's what we want our students to be. Okay, we have a Maldivian student. I got to know just now. Super. Welcome. We have had Maldivian students before. We have had at least 3-4 of them in my class before, or more of them. They have done really well before, right? But I just want to tell you, the whole thing is, governments will not be able to help you. Don't have that thing. And not even companies sometimes. I just want to take you before and after COVID, right? Before and after COVID. Before COVID, people thought qualifications are good style. I can write my name and have some letters after the name. Yeah, that's good, right? And I mean, take Maldives or Sri Lanka, we have this islander mentality. Nothing affects us, right? I'll go on like this and retire at 55 and things are okay, right? So we have that kind of mentality. And one thing I want to tell you is that this point, we look at people who are successful in the past. For example, some people look at me and say, Dusty did CIM, so I want to do CIM now. No, no, no. That's a complete no, because how I came to this position and how you're moving to your new destination, it's a totally new journey. Don't do what we did. We have carved our life differently, and that brought to us to this place. But that is not going to take you to your place, your destination one day. So don't look at successful people and say, this is what they did, I need to copy. No, that's where these new qualifications come. Lots of people have this MBA fever. I want to do MBA, but actually MBAs are becoming less relevant, and Dini and them did MSc project management, complete new area. Now here we are looking at MSc, I mean, either international banking and finance, or we are looking at um, aviation management in a digital age, right? And some people are saying aviation, yeah, currently restricted, but tourism, aviation will grow in a new way, in a more digitalized new way into the future. And that's where we need to be qualified. So don't look at the past, but past, before COVID, we always looked at people who are successful and said, yeah, they did this and we want to do the same. And some people say local qualifications are good, but uh, I mean, it's good to be patriotic, but none of the Sri Lankan universities are listed in top 1,000 universities in the world. I think only Colombo University is, I think, 2,800 plus. That does. So, I mean, work with the best countries, and still UK is number one for qualifications in the world. Yeah, followed by US, right? This is a OECD screenshot I have taken. Still UK is number one. Their system, their quality, what goes into it. So we were okay with local qualifications, but we have a very poor standing on global education benchmarks. So before COVID, we were okay with all that. It's a style, islander mentality, look at past and local qualifications. But look at the after COVID, right? Skills really matter. Skills really matter, and we are looking at this upskilling and reskilling. We've been talking a lot about upskilling means you improve your skill levels to another level. Reskill means you go to a new area, right? Now, I take this example. We have worked with like 50 odd people in Qatar maintenance section, right? Those who are into aircraft maintenance. Some are looking at how do I reskill myself in project management? Now, the same reason some of you are here, how do I reskill myself in aviation digital age? How do I reskill myself in international banking and finance? How do I upskill myself? So that is the real name of the game today. It's not about Dusty Alhakon. After your name, you have some Dusty Alhakon name, and then you have qualifications. Qualifications. No, we are not looking at that anymore. We are looking at real upskilling and reskilling. Can you work really hard? Right? Can you work smart? And companies are looking for these new skill sets and leaders who can thrive in this chaos. Right? Leaders who can thrive in this chaos. And we call it a VUCA world now. VUCA world. Now, VUCA world was good for earlier. It was theory. Actually, now we are really living in a VUCA world. Vulnerable, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Right? Vulnerable. We never thought a common cold can bring the world to its knees. Vulnerable. We are so vulnerable. Right? I was talking to my brother and saying, I visited the world on business, and after my meetings, I turn and come back thinking that I'll go to these places one day for a holiday. Now I'm thinking I should have taken the holiday that time. Right? Couple of years ago, I was in Milan. Couple of years ago, I was in Montreal and Madrid. You can't visit those places now anymore, right? So uncertain. It's so uncertain today and complex, right? The complexity, right? We can't understand what's happening right now. The world is very complex and very ambiguous. It looks good, it looks bad. So there is a lot of ambiguity in the whole thing. Some people say it's all right, some people say third wave is coming, right? Like in Hong Kong as we speak today, right? So uh, we are trying to battle this VUCA world, right? And trying to see, okay, uh, and trying to see, can we survive in this, right? So companies, you're going to get exposed to this, and companies are going to look for people who have this skill set. And international mobility is very important, and therefore international qualifications will be sought after. Somebody might come and say, yeah, I don't want to be here, I want to move to Canada. Okay, Wes, okay, you're looking for international qualifications. I want to move to New Zealand. I got a better job there, better life there. It's not being less patriotic saying I'm leaving Sri Lanka. It's your choice, really. I want to go somewhere else and live. And uh, and then transforming yourself is more important than the letters. This we tell all our students, right? Uh, we are not a institute, we are not a campus who's selling letters. You will get the letters, but we want to really see you transform. You might think we are silly because we are a private organization and we have a profit orientation. But there is something more important than money for us. Actually, there is something more important than money for us. We want you to transform. We have a campaign called Changing Lives. We track our students how they are after our qualifications. And some of them are on the walls of next campus. When you come next time to our physical facility, you will see some of them on our walls who have transformed. My head of sales at Heineken, I work for Heineken as managing director. Uh, my head of sales, he started the MBA at Next. And actually, he was a training manager that time. Halfway in the MBA, he got promoted as head of sales. And after finishing the MBA, he came and told me, Dasi, one day, I have a very, very unpleasant conversation to have with you. I said, what? I've got a job offer, right? And so I said, why is it unpleasant? No, I don't want to leave you and go after all this guidance and doing the MBA at Next also. But I said, what's your salary, new salary? 2.5 times. Head of sales at Heineken to chief operating officer for Pizza Hut. 2.5 times salary increase, 2.5 times. I said, go. I can find a head of sales. I said, this is the transformation that we have been looking for. Please go, right? And the other thing we keep telling people, companies will not be able to invest in you. Companies will find it very difficult to invest in you, and companies themselves are finding very hard to survive. So you need to take charge and say, I want to invest in myself. So this is what we do at Next Campus. We challenge you and we drag you out of your comfort zone, right? But many people, when they go to the comfort zone, what they do is they go to the comfort zone, they come running back to the comfort zone, because moment you go to the fear zone, what you want to do, I mean, a lot of fear, right? From comfort zone, you go to fear zone, and from there you come back running to the comfort zone. Because comfort zone is where you're very comfortable, right? I mean, life is good, you're thinking, things are under control. But fear zone, you think what others will think, find excuses, you lack self-confidence, right? But the real deal is when we push you to the learning zone. So today you're coming to this new learning zone. And once you pass the learning zone, you come to the growth zone. We call it the growth zone. This is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. And the idea is in life, can you be in growth zone and can you be in learning zone? Right? Learning zone is about dealing with new challenges, gaining new skills, expanding yourself, right? And here is where you make your dreams a reality. So we really want you to push yourself beyond the fear zone. And to help that only, we are doing a academic writing session also. I think in the first month or so, you will hear about it, so that you will not run back to your comfort zone and say, no, I want to give up the MSc, right? So our life at Next Campus is about this, helping people to live here. And it brings immense amount of satisfaction to us as shareholders, owners of Next Campus. We love to do this, right? We love to do this. And our CSR is inbuilt into our business. Why? We are changing lives of people. I mean, what, I mean, Monday to Friday, I'm in beer business. I make people happy, but I make their lives better during weekends. That's what my life has been for the last so many years. And we simply love that, changing lives of people. So we are very happy that you have chosen us to come to us. But as I say always in the first class, it's a buffet. It's a buffet. It's all you can eat. So the next 1 year, think about, right? Think about how much can you take, right? And build a kind of a discipline and say, look, I'm committing myself to this program, and I'm going to get the best out. And this is where I started. This is where I ended. Yeah, I kind of amplified myself. I made the best choice, best opportunity to be a better version of me. A better version. So I wish you'll have the courage to really stand up and say, next 1 year, I want to really invest in myself. And the best ROI that you can get is skills, right? And 10 years down the line, a lot of people will talk about 2020 for many reasons. And a lot of people will sit around and say, can you remember how COVID was, how bad it was? And you will say, well, I have a different opinion about 2020. 2020 is a year that I started my self-transformation. Right? That's the year I started my self-transformation. I started the MSc in aviation management in a digital age, and also international banking and finance. And that changed my life. If you can say that in 10 years, then what I'm talking and what Ruandi, what Kumudu, what Jeremy talks today will have some value to all of you. And just to tell you, I went through this myself. I did my master's in 2000, 2002 period. And I realized with all the company training that I got by about 2016, 17, I've been teaching a lot, but I've been getting less and less relevant. Then I was in the comfort zone. Then I told myself, how do I get into this growth zone? How am I going to make myself relevant in the next 10 to 20 years? So I joined INSEAD in Singapore and I did my second master's. I traveled to Singapore 1.5 years, every 2 months, 1 week in Singapore. I did that. And I got a second master's in coaching and consulting for change. And now again I'm relevant. I'm playing here again. And I have applied for a PhD and want to start that maybe next month or month after. Kodu has done 2 years in her PhD already. Keeping ourselves relevant, right, into the future. It's not for anyone now. It's not for money. It's not for anyone. It's for personal satisfaction. But I want to tell you a little bit about the INSEAD because uh, I have a very good experience there. We had 36 in our class coming from 22 nationalities, and out of these 36, at least 26 traveled outside Singapore. And faraway places, we come to Singapore every 2 months for 1 week. Uh, and I must tell you, we had 1.5 years classes. Only once out of these 36, we missed one person. Right? And some from Australia, some from Hong Kong, couple of people from Germany, 2 from UK, lots from Middle East, 1 from South Africa, 1 from Mexico, and 2 from Japan. Those are the things I can remember offhand. They all came for these classes. And one day, our third class, I think, we have our name boards on the seats where we sit. One name board empty on first day. This lady from UK. Nobody asked any questions. We went through first day. Second day, this lady comes. Second day, this lady comes. We have 36 in our class. And before we start our class, first half an hour, we have something called reflections. Half an hour, we can say anything in the class. Everyone listens, but you can say anything in the class. So everyone speaks for about 1 to 2 minutes about the dreams you had, about what's happening in your life, but no one responds to it, but we just talk. After some time, this lady broke the silence and said, this class in early January, she said, I want to share with all of you. I'm sorry I was absent yesterday. Why? I went to UK during Christmas and New Year, and my mother died. My mother died just after Christmas. We haven't done the funeral yet because in the UK they keep for about 14 days and then they go to the cemetery funeral parlor and have the funeral. And she said, my mother is still with the undertakers, but I thought I should come to this class. One reason is because I told at the beginning I'll come for every class. I want to stick to that commitment. So I left my mother's body and came. In 4 days' time, I'll go back and later I'll finish funeral. But I want to really come and stay with the 36 of you because I know if I don't come, with 35, the learning in this class will not be complete. I thought, wow. This is the kind of discipline that she's used to. And also she said, I feel better to be among these 36 people during my difficult times. So the whole idea, my learning there was, once you make a commitment, I'm not saying if someone's dead, come to class. I'm not saying that. I'm saying arrange your life in the next 1 year. Tell your loved ones, tell your family, tell your office, I'm doing this. I need to commit my time for this a little bit if you want to get the best out. Otherwise, you can scrape through and you can get the qualification also, not a big issue, right? But the whole idea is get yourself ready for this. Get the dates right. If you have once a month classes or once in 2 weeks classes, whatever the classes are, get your schedule cleared and check in today. Check in. You're checking in for a big investment. Actually, the investment is of money. Investment is your time. And when that time passes, you will not be able to get what happened in the first semester, you can't get in the second semester. So the real investment is time, and free yourself a little bit and say, I'm checking in today for a super journey of 1 year. And in 1 year's time, I want to be a changed person. And that's what I want to be in 1 year's time. So, I wish you the very best, and I wish you grow taller and bigger and better version of yourself in the coming 12 months. And it'll bring the change that you're looking for in your life. So thank you very much, and we are there to help you in that journey from me to everyone at Next. And we want to really make this year count because you placed a lot of trust in us, and we want to make that happen for you. So thank you very much, and all the best. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. And over to Kumudu.
Yes. Thanks, Dusty. So just to recap on a little bit of what Dusty said, I will just pick on a few things. One of the key ones is the next family, right? I have dealt with most of you, definitely all of you in aviation management, because I give the recruitment for that. Some of you in banking and finance. What I like to bring to the table is we do the filtering properly, right? We filter you, we make sure that you have the required qualifications and experience to come into the course. But once you come into the course, once you are accepted, we see you as part of our family, right? And from that point onwards, I'm not saying we're going to make the journey easier for you, but we take it as our responsibility to make sure that we can support you through the journey. So that's what we will do. And that's where we need to keep our lines of communication open. If you are going through anything, any struggles, whether it is personal, whether it is financial, whether it is career-wise, whatever it is, you need to talk to us, and you need to talk to us ahead, right? And once you're done with this 1 year, like Dusty says, we have all of us at Next, Dusty, me particularly, we've been in this for 13 years at Next. We get a lot of happiness and a lot of satisfaction in seeing you guys thrive, right? And those who have studied it with us in the first ever batch that we ever did are still with us. I think Ruandi, who's teaching you, was one of our first CIM batch students in 2007. And he's teaching, and she's teaching you guys today, 13 years down the line, right? And I would consider her one of the best lecturers that we have. And Ruandi and I have both been batchmates in the first MBA with Birmingham City that we did. So we don't do any courses that are not good enough for ourselves at Next. If we do it, that means it's good enough for us, it's good enough for me personally, and it's good enough for my team. So most of my team also will eventually, at some points, you will meet them studying for these courses. So I think Dusty has pretty much captured most of it, but I think one of the key ones today's session is all about getting to know us, because we can't meet in a physical sense. And getting to know each other, and then understanding how the next 13 months is going to look for you guys, right? So I'm going to just start off with the introduction to myself, and I'm hoping Dusty is still there.
I'm here.
Okay, so Dusty, I'm going to just say a little bit about myself, what I'm doing, and then I'd like you to.
Yeah, I can say about myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then we can move on to the rest. But I think some of the boys, especially Sachira and them, are, I think, joining from work. So in that case, we will not be able to connect. But then whoever who can certainly do this. So when I say I'm talking about myself, I'm going to say a little bit about my professional life and a little bit about my personal life, right? So that you guys know. So in terms of professional, I am one of the founder. Well, I started at Next as their founder general manager. At that time, I was not a shareholder. Eventually, Dusty and the team were good enough to make me a shareholder. So I am now one of the shareholders. I've been with Next for 13 years now, since its inception. Before that, I've handled the postgraduate department of ICBT, and prior to that, I was working for a British college, and prior to that, I was with ANC. So I've been in the education sector for a good 20 years now. So that's my professional career. As Dusty said, I'm currently doing my PhD. So when we say we are going to push you out of the comfort zone, it's not something that we are going to do to you. It's something that we do to ourselves also. So it's the same measure that we put on ourselves that we put on you. On a personal front, I'm a mother of a 19-year-old son who's in uni right now. So I kind of have very similar conversations with him also. In terms of starting programs, continuing studying, putting time in, all of those things. So that's quite common to them. And I want to say something about, I've handled master's programs for a long time, right? At ICBT, at Next, all that. And I see a big difference in people who do general masters like an MBA, or very specific, industry-specific masters like aviation or banking and finance or supply chain, that kind of thing. One of the things with people who do industry-specific masters is that you guys have a lot of industry-related knowledge, right? You bring to the classroom what me, Dusty, Jeremy, Ruandi together can't even fathom bringing into the classroom. But we have a different skill set. Our skill set is we know what the universities want, right? So this whole journey is about us knowing what the university wants, you guys knowing what the industry is, and bringing that whole thing together to make an entire package so that you get through the course, right? So we are not going to teach you about the industry, right? What we teach you, you might be able to teach us about the industry in this whole process, because I'm not very familiar with all the students in banking and finance, but I know from aviation that we have a wide range of people, from pilots to people in technical, in commercials, customer service, all of those things. So we are going to bring all that into the classroom, and that's the whole that's what the whole journey is going to be about. But when you have very specific industry knowledge, this is something that I personally went through when I started my PhD. Sometimes when you come into a more academic atmosphere, you get this whole imposter syndrome, right? That is saying, am I fit to be here? Right? Can I do this? Is this whole academic journey a little too much for me? Do I understand what is required by me, required by this whole process? So I just want to tell you at the outset, that's natural, right? All of you, or some of you have gone through this journey with us before, will tend to have these thoughts. And when you have these thoughts, you need to talk to me, you need to talk to Jeremy, you need to talk to Dusty or Ruandi or whoever is teaching you at that point, because all of us have gone through it. And it's a phase, that we need to survive. That's it, right? So all of you are here because you are good enough, because you're qualified enough, and your background is good enough to be in the masters. So don't ever have that question about, are you good enough to go through this? You are. It's just a case of adjusting to what an academic program will require. So that's all I'm going to do. So Dusty, would you want to like say a little bit about yourself, and then Jeremy and Ruandi can take over, and then maybe those who are in the group can introduce themselves.
Hi, okay. I see. I assume that they know me, right? That's a very bad.
No, they don't. They don't know you.
My name is Dusty Alhakon, and I've been with Next for 13 years. We started Next in 2007, and I have done marketing at the beginning. Then I did a MBA. Then, as I said, I did another master's with INSEAD campus in Singapore on coaching and consulting for change. Now I'm going to get enrolled in a PhD soon. In terms of my professional career, I have worked for British American Tobacco for 6 years, then as head of brands, and I worked for Coca-Cola as head of marketing, and now I'm managing director for Heineken for 10 years. So I've been more with corporates all my life, either in sales and marketing or in general management. And I've been teaching since 1999, and that's a real passion for me to teach. So while I do tobacco, coke, and beer, I balance good on the other side, teaching people, uh, right, how to improve their careers. So that's what I do. And right now, what I teach mostly is leadership, and I also teach research methods for MSc. So that's how I know Dini. I have done research methods in Qatar for project management. So that's what I do, mainly about strategy, about leadership, and about research.
Dusty, we have Sudesh also from batch 1,
Okay.
EM1 in the group.
Okay.
So in terms of aviation, you guys will have Dusty doing strategy, innovation, and leadership for you. I think that's one of the first modules that you'll be doing. So you'll be seeing him in a more closer sense, and I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy that module. So I think most of you in aviation have already met Cameron, because he would have probably spoken to you all on the documentation, all of that. Cameron is out hosting another class, so he's not here right now. I will get him to eventually introduce himself to you. But I think the next person that I'm going to introduce, I'm going to ask to introduce himself, and this is going to be the most important person for you in the next 13 months. That's Jeremy. Jeremy?
Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy. So I'll be basically your program manager for both programs, both the aviation management and international banking and finance. So I'm here, anything you need in terms of support, extra support, or any difficulties that you all face during the week, I'll talk to you all more about that. I'm here to kind of guide you and support you in terms of materials, whatever it is that you need. To know a little bit about me, this is basically almost 3 years with Next, which I'm very happy about. And but I know Next campus long before. I did my first degree with Next campus about 5 years ago. And one of my favorite teachers, again, I tell her very often, is Ruandi. And I enjoyed my experience with Next campus so much, so that later I came back to do my master's, and I joined Next, and I work with them now. So I have a MSc in project management, and again I was the coordinator for the Qatar batch. So Sudesh, Dimi, I know them, and have since then I think we have 4 batches that have. And we are closing the 4th batch is completing their dissertation, and they will be finishing off. So we have a lot of experience with international delivery as well. A lot of things we've learned along the way. In terms of my career, I started off at Standard Chartered Bank, my first job. Then I joined HSBC 2 years later, and I worked in compliance there, and then came back to Standard Chartered. In between, I was working with a media company. That's where I met Kumudu, and they were actually clients of mine, Next Campus. And then I went back to work with Standard Chartered for another 2.5 years before I joined Next again. So that's my career experience. And yeah, that's me. All right, and now I'll give the floor to Rwandi, who is the first teacher that you will be working very closely with in your experience on this program.
Just before Ru takes, so I want to say something a little bit more about Jeremy. Jeremy is one of our distinction students in his MSc, so he's very academically savvy. And whenever you have time, when you have issues or whenever you need support, you can always count on Jeremy. And for those who are in banking and finance, Jeremy, myself, Savit, who you would have met, Devon, who you haven't met, but who is a head of business development, Shashrika, who's in our business development team. All of us have started our careers in banking, right? So we are very familiar with that. And for the aviation management, what I have to say, my father is 30 years in aviation, or was 30 years in aviation. He's retired now. So aviation, whatever your shifts, the difficulties, the drama, it's in my blood. You know, it's what I grew up with. It's what I knew from my birth to essentially being 25, 26 years old. So I know what it's like. So whenever you all have problems, you guys need to talk to me. So I'm handing it over to Rwandi. Rwandi has, like I said, has been with us for a long time. And then Rwandi will take you from here, from the introductory sessions to whatever else that we have planned.
Hi guys, so I'm Rwandi. Yes, you'll be seeing me for the first month with regards to your academic session, and then I'll also be taking you through your research methodology. So just to give a little intro about me, I think I can be called the oxymoron of satisfaction, because you remember Dusty was talking to you about the comfort zone. So I have a big problem with the comfort zone, that I just get real fidgety whenever I go there. So academically, I started CIM, and that's when I first met Dusty. He was my favorite lecturer there, and then of course I was one of the first students to enroll in Next as soon as they opened. I still remember walking into the building when we were just, they were just setting up, and at the time, I think Minute Maid was being promoted at Coca-Cola. Remember drinking Minute Maid with Kumudu? And so anyway, from there onwards, I went on.
Free Minute Maid, which we are not doing now. Dusty can give us free beer samples, but I don't know.
We had to do with Minute Maid, yes. So after that, guys, so CIM, then at Next I also did my master's, 2 sets of masters. The second one was for the Birmingham MBA with Kumudu. And then of course, I've been lecturing since like 2009 or so. That's quite a while now. So part and parcel of the family. And professionally, again, I'm the oxymoron of satisfaction. So I started off with a very corporate kind of background, from Unilever to John Keel's to Aiken Spence, and then I kind of was feeling very fidgety again. So I wanted to do something where something out of corporate. So then I did a complete turnaround of my career and became a writer. So right now I'm loving the job, working as a writer for LMD and also doing my own freelance work as well. So if there's one thing I get uncomfortable with is when I'm satisfied. So I just, I'm not going to tell you everything that I've done academically, because then you're going to think of me as like someone very confused, because I don't believe in one track qualifications or one track kind of expertise. So I always think that being multifaceted is the way to go. So anyway, more talk on that later on. So without further ado, I think we'll move on to, so I wanted to take you through a little introduction just to get you, a little acquainted with what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks, and basically the kind of mindset that you have to develop or that you will develop in the course of the next 13 months. But before we go to that, so now that you know a little bit about us, can we maybe do a quick round robin for us to just get to know who you are? So I hope you'll share some information with us in addition to my name and I am from this company. Just want to know exactly why you're here. Because I don't believe a company defines a person. So just want to know who you guys are, what you do, what drives you, and what made you end up here in this with us on a Sunday at 2 o'clock. So can we start with maybe Divi?
And anybody who can switch on their cameras, this is the time. So I kind of like to see everybody. If you can only, yeah.
Thank you, Ruandi, for putting me on the spot right off the bat. Hi, everyone. I'm Dimitri. I'll be doing the aviation management in the digital age. I just finished my project management MSc with everyone at Next. Yeah, so this master seemed like the next logical step, and because it's been like 14 years in aircraft maintenance. Started off at Sri Lankan, spent 3 years in the Maldives, and 8 years here in Qatar. Yeah, so not much to say. That's it, I guess.
So Dimi, again, is one of our distinction students in project management. They are very difficult to come by. I have to say that it's not very often. It's just that whenever people have a distinction and they've been really good at what we do, we try to keep them in the group so that they can share their experience. Ruandi is a distinction student. Dimi, I told him before we started that he's going to be the godfather of this batch. So he and Sudesh, who eventually introduced himself, they've been in MSc project management and they've been through the mills. So this is going to be an easier journey for them. Yeah. Okay, anybody who wants to take up the next one?
Shall we give it to Sudesh? Do you want to go ahead? And after that, you can nominate whoever you want.
Yeah.
Pass the ball.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's Sudesh Pereira, and I'm currently residing in Qatar, working to Qatar Airways. And as Demi said, we were in the same batch before with in doing MSc in project management. And when talking about my career, I have working for aviation for past 12 years, and started off from Asian Aviation Center. That was with not with Demi, it's my super senior. And also, yeah, that's it. I'll make it short. So next, I'll hand it over to Shashi Pereira, same from Qatar.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shashi Pereira, and I'm working for Qatar Airways as a customer service, and I've been here since 2015, and I've been going through a nice journey with Qatar Airways here. And with regards to academics, I do not have a proper background of academics, so this is going to be my first professional academic qualification. So I hope to enjoy this. Thank you.
Good to meet you, Shashi. I'm finally seeing you in person. Well, not in person, virtually, at least in person. Naif, you want to join us?
Hi everyone, I'm the Mordivan here. So yeah, I'm from Trans-Maldivian Airways. I've been flying there for about 4 years now. I guess the reason why I kind of want to be involved in this is because I kind of want to move into management. I'm somewhat involved in the junior management as it is in the company. So this seemed like the logical step, I guess. Yeah, that's about it.
Right. Thanks, Naif. So I think later on in the day, when we go through the more practical aspects of it, we'll be looking at doing the grouping, how do you guys work in groups, all of that. So we would probably look at grouping the international students together in terms of, getting two aspects. One is that one thing you guys will bond, and then when you move on to second semester, the group in Sri Lanka would come to face it's only virtual for a while. And then the international guys would continue. So if you form a group at this point of time, it will be easier for you. Yeah. So, but then Ruandi will take you through that process. Ruandi and Jeremy will take you through that process. So in terms of first line is done, next one would be Vidu. At least that's what I'm seeing.
Same here.
Okay.
I hope you can hear me.
We can, yes.
Yeah. I'm Vidu, and I have been the basic course batchmate of Sudesh, and I have been working in the aviation industry for the past 12 years, and now I'm working for Qatar Airways with Dimi and Sudesh in the same shift. But I am not a studious guy as as they used to be. So, but with all this pandemic and all these situations, I was thinking like, okay, at least this is the last chance you've got to get the academic qualification properly, because I was into music a lot of times. I am into music. I'm making music. Music was my life apart from aviation, but now I think it's the time for a change. So that's why I thought of, okay, I spoke to Dimi a lot about it, and I just told him, okay, you have to take me through all these. I'm actually depending on him a lot. So let's hope for the best.
We already love you at Next if you're
Yeah,
into music.
because music is like our second nature. Everybody at Next, at some point, we used to ask two questions when we hired faculty. Do you own a black color vehicle? Can you play some instrument or sing?
And even Shashi is a good musician as far as I know.
So that's good to know. Rualni is a fabulous singer. She's the lead singer in all of our parties.
So
Right,
that's
so welcome, Vidu. It's in terms of what you said, Dimi needs to pull you through. Well, we all need to pull you through, and all of us will put each other through, right? And I manage the day-to-day operations of Next, so a lot of the decisions, a lot of the final things do lie with me. My responsibility is managing the expectation of the university, but balancing it out to make it realistic for the students. Sometimes universities don't understand the difficulties of a mid-career professional doing an academic course, because their students are essentially full-timers who do this. So that's where I said earlier also, wherever you guys face a difficulty or you face a challenge, you need to talk to us, because there's always a solution to anything.
Thank
It's
you.
just that the communication has to always stay open. So we will all pull you through, but you will also need to push a little.
I will do my best.
Definitely.
I'm sure. Thanks.
And also, Kumudu, should say Vidu and Shashi, they are like professionals in music. You can see them in YouTube if you just
Oh,
do a
really?
background. Yeah, they are
So
there.
next time we have class next week, we should share some of the links so that we can actually play that in class.
Not
Ruandi, you have a exercise
Cool.
for next week.
I have the perfect icebreaker now.
So we have Yanushka. We don't get very many female pilots. I'm happy to have one on our batch this time. Yanushka, you want to say something?
Yeah. Hi, I'm from Sri Lanka. I actually worked at Transmaldivian for about a year. I'm back in Sri Lanka now, and I want to eventually run my own airlines one day. So this seemed like a logical step up.
We are fully with you on that one. Well, Ruandi and me at least. We are all for what do you call it, Ruandi?
I would say
Empowerment, female empowerment.
you don't know how much it delights us to have females in the class, because I think Next has this all male attraction for some reason.
Yeah, it's too much. But it's funny, we have quite a few females, but it's just that it's male dominant. So you want to kind of break that, yeah.
Exactly.
Shamit.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shamit Vijaytilaka, and I've been with the aviation airlines for the last 15 years, probably. And sorry, I've not worked for Qatar Airways, guys, but I work for.
No, we are done
I
with
work
the
for.
Qatar. One more.
I work for. I started my career with Air Arabia, and subsequently I was with Emirates, and then an airline which closed down in Sri Lanka. And I was with Jet Airways and I was with Gulf Air. I'm right now with airline division of John Keells, which we have multiple GSAs running, and so I'm in charge of certain areas for Sri Lanka, and also we have a representation in Maldives. I'm very passionate about airlines aviation. Since my childhood, I wanted to become pilot. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to become pilot, but instead I managed to get into the airline field. In a very nutshell, and I'm happy to be with all of y'all who is passionate about airlines, aviation, and probably the banking also.
Thanks, Shamit. So we have Shehan next. Jeremy, you went through this, right? Yeah, Shehan next.
Hi guys, I'm
Hi,
Shehan. So it's good to see Vidhu, Dimitri, and Sudesh. We have been working at
Okay.
And now only saw them. So I started my career in 2011, and now it has been almost 9 years at Sri Lankan Airlines. So before I started my career, I was into the programming, software programming courses. So I've been looking for a course which integrates that programming and aviation both together. So that's where I found this MSc program, and I thought this is a good chance to improve my academic career. So that's why I joined it, and it's nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Shehan. Sachini, good to see you.
Hello everyone, hope you can hear me well.
We can hear you and see you both.
Oh, okay, hi guys. Hello everyone. So I'm Sachini Isanayaka. Maybe some of you guys know me as in a different name. So I see few of them from my social media. And actually I started my career.
What is your social media name? Because that's
it's bit stupid, but it's Angel Ascaderia. So talking about myself, I started my career in 2012 at Skyline Aviation. I finished my basic course. Then I couldn't find a job for years, so I was working as a lecturer for few months, maybe few years, since I didn't have a job. So at that time, I actually got a chance to work in Sri Lankan Airlines OJT. From there on, I worked for Asian Academy of Aeronautics in Maldives. It's a flying school. They had Cessna 172 and 152 and 150. So I basically started working there as a technician. Then I got the chance to come into Sri Lanka as a lead aircraft mechanic for Emirates station in Sri Lanka. So I will be working here. I have been working here for past 2 years. And that's about me. I mean, I really want to become an aircraft maintenance engineer, but since the situation is not good at the moment, and my last target is to become an aircraft investigator, I thought of starting this. And I think this is a good opportunity to me to grow myself. I think I'm still young, and I don't have much experience compared to others who are in this course right now. So I think I can do better in the future and go to my target. That's it about myself.
Thanks, Sachini. So reach out to Godfather there.
Okay, definitely.
Right.
Nice meeting you guys.
Likewise. So I can't see your name, the next person, and I haven't seen you, so I'm assuming you're from Jeremy?
I think it's Ashen.
Hi, Ashen. Okay, I didn't get the chance to see you.
Hello, Ashen. Hello.
Hi, Ashen. Yes.
Yeah, yes, nice to meet you guys. I'm Ashen Rupu. I'm from Sri Lanka, and I'm actually working at Sri Lankan Airlines. I actually work with. We are in the same engineering department as Shehan over here. Yeah, so I started off in aviation back in 2014, just after school, and I've been working in Sri Lankan Airlines since. And I thought that this would be a nice opportunity to learn something new, as it would be almost the right time to learn something new. So here I am. So let's see how it goes, and let's see this to the end. Thank you very much, and nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Ashin.
Thanks, Ashin.
Vikum, I don't know you, but I know your CV very well. And I also know you're a high performer. So you want to. Vikum, you're still on mute.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
We can. And Vikum, for those in aviation, Vikum is the first of the banking and finance cohort to speak.
Okay. Sorry, I just had another appointment and just joined. I think we are talking about myself, like an introduction.
Yeah, just
Okay.
just for us to get to know each other, because for the next 4 weeks, when we do academic skills day together, then on that 4 weeks onwards, you will branch out to your respective courses. Jeremy will take you through the whole session plan later on in the day.
Okay, thanks. My name is Vikum Holi Bandar, and I have been a career bank, and I moved abroad in 2011, and there was a career break because I was employed in accountancy and retail. And since coming back, I was originally in corporate banking with Commercial Bank and HSBC, and since I left, then I lost a bit of touch with banking. So after coming back, I tried a few different things and wanted to actually get back into banking. So I joined Institute of Bankers, and then followed a few qualifications, and then with CFA qualification. I'm halfway there, so I have another examination that I need to clear. So in the meantime, of course, Savit contacted me with this new qualification, which is in. Usually, I have a tendency to like analytical things, so I thought rather than going for an MBA, maybe this might suit me better to acquire the technical skills in quantitative field. So that's where I thought MSc in international banking and finance would really help, and of course, which is specific to the banking industry. So I thought after a bit of convincing, of course, Savit has been really helpful. And because with COVID-19 and then these disruptions with the workloads, I was wondering whether I'd be in a position to take up another course of studies and really do well in it. But then eventually I decided, okay, maybe this is what I should be doing. And then actually, so you guys have been very helpful in getting me on board, and of course, very patient. So for which I thank, and I hope to get to know the others, and also to get through this with everyone. And of course, since we have some aircraft engineers also, to make some connections. And it's always nice to get to know people and network. So that's how business happened. That's how life happened. So yeah, hopefully I'm excited and looking forward to it. So thanks for having me. And I guess hopefully I'll get to know more people. Thanks.
Thanks, Vikum. I will come back to networking at the end of this session, and the power of networking really within next. Right.
Okay.
Hashan.
There's four with Hashan.
Hashan, there's multiple people, right?
Yeah.
There's a classroom there.
There's a classroom. If inside Hashan's connection, we have an entire classroom. And these all happen to be my ex-students. So, okay, I want faces closer to the camera and introductions.
I will have to step forward one by one.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to be with you guys today. My name is Ranidu, and I am working as an instructor at Flight Southern Flight Academy. And I am pretty young to the industry, so I have been working with the flight school since 2018. And that's pretty much about me. And another important thing is I did my bachelor's in business administration with Next, of course. And one of my lecturers was Ruandi. And yeah, and these are the others.
Okay, faces, names.
Hi everyone, I'm Sujit Matararachi. As he said, I'm also just did my BABA. Last week only I got my result.
Just for those who don't know what BABA is BA Honors in Business Administration. And we've had lots of people from aviation who did BABA with us. So some of them have joined the course. But this is a new experience for them because we used to mollycoddle them in BABA. That's not going to happen in the masters.
Little bit about myself, and I'm currently working for Sri Lankan Airlines as a flight attendant, cabin crew, and I've been working for aviation industry past 10 years, and yeah, hoping for the best with this MSc course. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Rajita, and I did BABA with Next as well. I worked for a US company, been in the corporate world for literally about 12 years now. Been in aviation for the last 15 years. And really a good chance to do this aviation management, and we were looking for MSc like this, so it's a good opportunity. So thanks for having us, and we'll pass to Hasham.
Hi, I'm Hasham Madhushankar. Currently working as a ground instructor in Fly Southern, same as Ranidu. That's it.
Okay, thanks guys. There's one more of you, right? And he's separate?
Yeah.
So I have 5 from moving from BABA to aviation.
Yes. Isuru. Yes, that Isuru.
That was Isuru.
Captain, yeah.
We have Chaturika, who's from banking and finance. Sorry, we have Isuru next. Yes.
Hi, Kumdu. You know that I did BABA with you, and I started my career in year 2001.
Okay.
And I did my flying training in US. After that, I joined Expo Aviation, and I flew the domestic airline. It's Ratmalana to Jaffna in the war season. After the war, I used to work in Singapore. We flew Singapore, Indonesia, and 2015 onwards, I returned back to home and started ab initio training. I trained PPL, CPL students. Now I'm with the Civil Aviation Authority as a Civil Aviation Inspector. That's it.
Wow. So Isuru, are you going to give the others inside information on civil aviation?
It's secret. That's
So I have to add a little bit about on that same aspect. In the PhD that I'm doing, I'm doing my PhD in higher education, and we have my senior batch. So we combine batches the same way that you guys will also get combined with the batch that is starting after you. So your network becomes bigger. In the PhD also we combine with our senior batch, and in our senior batch we have this lady from Quality QAA, which is the Quality Assurance Agency of UK, right?
All right.
And every time I go to UK, I manage to sit next to her. And then I'm like, when is the QA for Sri Lanka? You know, that is my question. So we were actually ready for a QA visit last year, right? And unfortunately, bomb happened. It didn't happen. We were ready for a QA for Sri Lanka this year, and this happened, and that didn't happen. Because I always believe if QA happens, half of the institutions in Sri Lanka will close down, and that's where we will thrive, really. So that's good. So Isuru, you're going to be our inside man. I guess you didn't ask already.
Yeah, we'll see.
No, don't worry, we won't put you on the spot. Chaturika, are you in a position to let us see you or at least talk to us? So I know some people are at work, so they are not able to join. Dakshi? Nope. Okay. Sachini?
Sachini spoke to us.
Yes.
No.
No.
Sorry.
There we go. We have Sachini.
Hello.
Hi, Sachini.
This is Dakshi.
Hi, Dakshi. Sorry. So we have Sachini's video and Dakshi on. Okay. Hi, Dakshi. You're from
Hi.
Banking and Finance.
I'm from Commercial Bank. Working as a relationship manager for like 8 years. And my career in banking is almost 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
And I just thought of having more in banking and finance, and thought of doing this MSc. So looking forward to having more knowledge in banking and finance.
Thanks, Dakshi. Dakshi, can I just ask, I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I'm asking this because I haven't been involved in the recruitment of banking and finance so much. How is the current crisis affecting you guys in terms of workload, in terms of targets, salary issues, staffing issues, all that? I mean, just for me to get an understanding, or rather everybody to get an understanding of the challenges that we would face.
Workload is more like because of these moratoriums and all. And also we are in touch with the customers whether they can now. We have to like go on from September onwards to pay all the debts and all, to start paying. So we need to see whether they can meet those commitments. So workload is more at the moment, but some industries do well, but some are not. So we need to keep a close eye, since some people will lose control.
That's true. I'm sensing a lot of people, I mean, individuals are facing problems with settling their credit cards and loans and all of these things as well, right?
Yeah, correct. And the interest has been lowered, but with the pay cards and all scaling down, all those, anyway, banks will be affected.
That's true. So
after December only, this will be reflected very much, because September they will have to pay. Within 2 months, if they don't pay, the whole thing will go to non-performing. So December will be a crucial month.
Okay. So the actual effect on the economy you're saying will be shown after December to us.
Correct. They will have to do something.
Interesting things that we can start, discuss in advance before that. Thank you, Dakshi. Looking forward to connecting in the next few weeks.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Take care. Okay.
So we have Sachini and then Madhushan after that, both of whom I know, but then the rest of the team needs to get to know.
Hi, I'm Sachini, and
I started my career in 2016, right after school in Sri Lankan Airlines as a flight dispatcher. And after that, in 2018, I joined Airport and Aviation, and I'm currently working as an aeronautical communication officer. And I chose this program hoping that it would help me to move forward in my career. And one day I would like to work in the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka. So that's about it. And it's nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Sachini. Matushan.
Hi everyone, my name is Madhushan and I have been working for aviation industry for 5 years. I've started my career as a flight operations assistant at Sri Lankan Airlines and currently working as a flight dispatcher at Sinamania. And I have selected this course because I have an urge to become an airport manager someday. And it's really nice to meet you guys.
As a daughter of a long-time airport manager and a station manager and all that, I'm telling you, your kids are not going to like that now itself. I hate it. Right. So we've covered Lakshi. I think Chaturika probably has connectivity issues, and we have Jeremy. I can't see a name on the next one.
Okay, so we have so Antha. Antha is next. Antha, can you?
Antha is from which batch?
Hello. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm having teething issues. I'm using my work laptop, so I don't think I can use the video for some reason.
No worries.
So basically, hi, Mantha. I think I'm one of the few who's studying international banking and finance. I am working for SoftLogic stockbrokers at the moment. I'm basically a foreign trader. I handle foreign funds and institutions. So basically I come from a line of bankers in the family. Always didn't want to work in a bank. But then I felt what better way to change the devils than to join them. So that's why I decided to start it. And yeah, that's about it.
All right.
That's interesting. So you finally caved in and joined bankers, is it?
No, I mean, so like I said, long line of bankers in the family. But then, I always used to hate banks. Like, this date, I don't even own a credit card, right? Because I feel like that's the best way for them to kind of
have control over your life.
Each money off you. So then, so I think I actually met my uncle the other time. He was just like, you have so much hate towards the industry. Why don't you just try changing it from within? So that's what I thought I'd do, So I'm here.
Interesting.
Right. So we have Chaturika and Jalia who have said that they don't have audio visual. Jeremy, you want to add something on their behalf?
Yes, sure. So they're working today, so that's why they can't introduce themselves. But just to tell you a little bit about them, they both have working experience more than 7 years, and both have completed DABF, and they were looking for MBA, which is truly related to banking, and that's why they chose us, Next Campus. So we look forward to working with both of you very much, and thank you for basically sharing your introduction.
Thanks, Chaturika. Thanks, Jalia. So I think Fazloon is also unable to join on audio video, but I thought while Fazloon can type whatever it is, but I would like to add something about Fazloon because I've had an extensive conversation. So Fazloon has a long career in banking. I believe he's currently the branch manager for Ceylon Bank in Padavia. He's had a very illustrious career in banking, having started his career long before the war ended and working in the north and the east where the war, when the war was on, and then working through Ceylon Bank during the crisis at Selinco. Fazloon has been awarded a Deshamanya title, I believe, because he has been involved in getting the North and the East to learn Sinhalese. So I had a very interesting conversation. He can really bring a lot into the class in terms of his experience in working in the North and the East and different communities and how he brings about different communities. I think eventually when we can get Fazlun to join the class, he will have a lot of insights to share on culture, on ethnicity, on diversity, and how we actually as a nation go forward as in terms of diversity, really. So I'm looking forward to having Fazlun. I was very impressed when I had an interview with him. So I'm hoping that Fazlun will join the batch very soon.
Super. Sachira, we have Sachira with us. I know that he's also at work.
Yeah, Sachira is also at the airport right now. So
welcome, Sachira. Yeah.
Sachira is with Airways, and I believe he's in commercial. We will get Sachira to introduce himself later on. Yeah.
All right.
So we have Fazlun.
Sabit,
do you want to say anything about yourselves?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not in Colombo, so my signal is a bit weak, so I can't come on camera. So I would like to actually say hi to everyone, and as the first day of the introduction, I'm guessing everyone got a good insight into how we do things and how everything will go forward. Because I think my IBF, a lot of them had some, questions about how we're going to do it, the virtual class. So I'm guessing this is a good chance for them to understand everything that we're going to do.
I think that's the next thing that Jeremy will do, kind of take people through. So for the aviation guys who don't know Savit, Savit was the admissions manager for banking and finance. He's a part of my team. So anybody who is working in banking and finance have essentially, well, they know Savit, right? Thanks a lot, Savit.
No worries.
Right. So Jeremy, we've covered everybody.
Yeah, we have.
So we will. I'll give it back to you. I'm going to go enjoy a glass of wine, but I'm going to be in the group here. I have been enjoying a glass of wine through all this. Yes. So, Jeremy, you want to take people through the structure and how we'll be doing things in the next 13 months?
Yes, sure. All right, guys. So welcome back again to Next. I'll be basically taking you through a few things very briefly about how things will work over the next few months. Just give me 1 minute. All right. So welcome to Next Campus. I'll quickly skip the formalities because now you know all of us. So like Dusty said, it's your 1 year at Next Campus. So really make it count because it's an experience that's going to change your life, right? And your journey starts now. From today itself, you will have access to material and I will explain to you how things will work out and how this next month, which will be very interesting, that you will spend mostly with me and Rwandi on academic skills and how to approach each assessment that you will work with, that LMU will literally throw at you. So don't worry, with confidence you can face it. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to talk to you all about is the Next Campus Moodle, which is your one-stop shop for everything that you need, right? So all your material will be available on this, and you will be submitting your report assignments, your final assignments on the Next Campus portal. So I would like to show you how that works, right? So as of now, if you have registered yourself using SIMS, with basically Cameron and Savit's support, you can do so. You will have access to the Next Campus Moodle, right, which is our learning management system. You would get an email like this, and what you need to do is you will go to the Next Campus login page, which is also accessible on our website. There's a small icon at the top, and then you can access at any time, or you can use this link, and you enter the username that we have sent you with the password. And then what will happen is you will be prompted to change your password, right? So you need to enter your current password and enter your new password. And basically, usually what I do is I save my password on my browser. You could do so too. But if ever you forget your password, which I hope you don't, but there's a forgot password option, or else you can reach out to me and I will give you support on how this will be managed. Okay, before we go to the next slide, I just want to share with you how things would work on the Moodle and what we will give you access to. So this week you will be given access to the academic skills page, which is the first module that you'll be doing, that we will take you through over the next month, right? And on this module, what you will have access to, there's a forum, right? And on this forum, what you could do is, if you have any questions or any clarifications that you need to make, you can ask, you can add a discussion topic. Okay. And then you can mention the subject, whatever it may be, anything academic related. So let's say you're talking about a certain model or a certain lesson. You can say Ansof's model, which is the model that you want to talk about, or you can talk about, let's say, second class. Okay, and you have a question, because okay, and all you need to do is, if you want to share a certain document that you need to kind of elaborate on, or something that you need to ask the lecturer about, you can share that and you can post to forum, right? So let's just do that. I will delete this later. Okay, right, and there you go. The post was successfully added, right? Now, if you want to reply to basically something that Jeremy has said, okay, you can go to that, and then you can read it, and then let's say maybe it's something one of your colleagues in your class, they have spoken about. You can always, if you have the answer before the lecturer gets to it, you can always kind of support that student and reply on that student's behalf. So the question is, please may I know if Harvard referencing is necessary, is the necessary referencing method? You can say, yes, it is. There is a guideline on the Moodle. And then you can answer and you can post a forum. Now, I know that those who are familiar with Next Campus and have done a course with us, like Demi and Hashan and Isuru, all of you guys, y'all are very familiar with this, because y'all lived and breathed this management, this Moodle for 1 year. But those who don't, it's very easy, very simple, and not to worry, you will get the hang of it. It's very straightforward, and if you need any support, you can always get in touch with me. So academic skills writing, we've basically put up some material for you to kind of refer, some video tutorials as well. So that could actually prepare you for academic writing, especially for the next class. So you can go through that. And subsequently, as we go along, Ruandi will be using this to share material with you. So all the slides that Ruandi uses to teach, and any material that she'd like you to read extra, she will be putting up here. And also there will be an assessment portal where you will have to submit your any assignments that you have, which I will take you through later. Okay. All right. Now, more importantly, one thing that you all must be wondering is how things are going to work out over the next year, right? So this is your schedule, right? So what would happen is, before you officially start with London Metropolitan University doing the programs, London Metropolitan University, along with us, where we have created some material that you can go through and work with, which is an academic skills training session. It's more of an academic training session where we will coach you. We will coach you on how to face assessments that London Metropolitan University will give you, because there are different kinds of assessments. Let me show you. So as you can see, this is for AMD. You can see different types of assessments. There's individual presentations, group presentations that you all will have to work with. There are reports, essays, which are not really reports, but more of reflective kind of aspect to it that we will teach you about. And also there are exams, theoretical essays, and then finally there will be a research proposal, literature review, and dissertation. So don't worry about it now, but we will take you through it, and we will teach you what these kind of report styles mean, what you need, how you need to approach these different kinds of assessments when the time comes, and how to write, okay, and how to present your work and structure it. So that is what we will be taking you through from basically month 0, or for you it will be August. Then you will have 3 months where we will take you through your first semester, right? And during that first semester, you will be doing 2 subjects, right? For the AMD guys, it would be strategic leadership and innovation, and finance, project management, right? So those 2 subjects that we will take you through. And also we will be taking you through research methods, which also most likely Ruandi will be teaching you, and she will be teaching you this subject right through the year. Okay, so this is in preparation for your dissertation, which would be right at the end on your last semester, which is the largest assignment that you will basically do over this year, because it's either 10,000 words or 15,000 words, irrespective of the program that you are doing, right? So apart from research methods that will be taught in every semester, you will be doing 2 other subjects every semester, and there are 3 months. And basically, as you finish and submit your last assignment for the first semester, the next week you will be starting the next semester. So it is basically a lot of work, or as in back to back you will have work, because it's basically 1 year that you will be committing to this program. But don't worry, we have your back. We will support you whatever it takes you. But a couple of things that I would like to let you know or advise you on during this program, which I will come to towards the end. All right. So this is your schedule, right? So this is basically what it would look like over the next month, right? So you have 4 weeks, right, which Rwandi will teach you academic skills, and it's more than teaching it, she will coach you, and she's a brilliant coach, and she will help you with that. Around the 16th week, we will give you assignment of sorts. It's not a very tough one, but this would basically assess your skills on a specific topic that we will tell you about, and then you will have to submit it at the end of the 4th week, right? And then thereafter we will take you through a feedback session on 30th of August and have a very casual, it's not a very strict assignment. It's not something that we will be giving to the university and your marks won't be taken into account, but it is very important that you do it, and we want you to do it. It's mandatory, so that we can give you feedback, constructive criticism that you can use to take to the master's program and apply the knowledge that you have learned over the first month. So this month is actually very critical and would really be worth your while for any program, any qualification that you do in your entire life. So this is not something all institutes do actually, and it's very useful, and luckily enough you have the chance to get this training or coaching session done before you get into the main program. All right, I have marked yellow here. So during this period, after these, during this time, Kumudu has suggested very graciously that we have these casual discussions where you can bring a beverage. We wouldn't specify on the beverage. It's open to you to decide. So that means if you want to bring a beer or even a coffee, you can bring it, and we can basically talk a reflective session about how your experience has been over the couple of weeks. So nothing related to hardcore academics and the work that you have done, but more of a casual discussion that we can basically talk to each other, talk about the news, the weather, whatever it is, and we can share any material or any content that we want to share with each other on that. Kumudu, would you like to add?
Yes, I'd like to say something to that. So as I said, this once we have accepted you, we see it as a journey that we go together, right? And a master's it's a very odd program in some ways. It's an individual journey, but it's also a journey that we go as a team. So each of you need to kind of support each other, motivate each other, take each other through the difficult times. I see it happening in I'm doing my PhD in a cohort, and the only reason I have lasted 2 years through Easter bombings, through to my son going off to university, through COVID, to all this is my cohort, because they give me the strength, and when I feel down, they push me through. So that's the kind of thing that I expect to happen in this batch as well. So these beverage sessions, I think maybe we start with coffee, but as we go on to dissertation, it will require harder liquor, really. That's going to be the reality of it. But this is a no judgment session, really, where we share all our difficulties. Whether it is, I don't know how to do it, or I don't understand X lecture, and I will also join in, but I will sit in that group as somebody who has gone through a master's, has gone from a student perspective. Jeremy, Ruandi, all of us will sit on your side, as opposed to sitting on the other side where we are either faculty or management. But that whole exercise is meant so that we can connect with each other and kind of face the difficulties that any of us have together. Yeah, so I hope all of you all take that session very seriously. It's very important. Make sure what kind of beverage you want to bring into the picture, and I'm sure Dimi will have lots to add in that session. But we'll get to know people as we go along, and I'm hoping that these sessions can be in person after this first semester, really. And maybe hopefully AMD one of the sessions can actually be in Qatar instead of in Colombo.
Stronger the beverage, better the truth.
That I agree. I'm up for a few glasses of wine, so I'm being very open right now.
So you'll be very truthful after a couple of drinks. So yeah, and to get back to the schedule, yeah,
excuse me, Jeremy.
Tell me.
But there's a regulation on the that beverages.
Okay.
That throttle to bottle, it's 8 hours.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know about this.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know at on next campus grounds we can't have anything, but I know that basically at the masters usually we have parties where we are all adults, right? We are all postgraduate students. So but we can't have it because we are doing virtual classes. But later when we can, definitely we will have some parties.
Yeah, we do have drinking, not drinking sessions, rather like socialization sessions.
Yeah.
Isuru, you'll find this a very different experience from Baba. We treat you like adults here.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
You're beginning to understand that, I'm seeing.
Yeah.
No, I just mentioned that there's a regulation in the aviators.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you're at work, please.
No. I just kidding.
Anybody who's working in AMD, please drink coffee.
We'll have to schedule these times when no one is at work or anywhere close to work or around children. So when we schedule this, but basically it's not about that. Basically, where we can be open and have a comfortable platform where we can talk equally, a round table as such. So where just so that we can have a comfortable conversation, because it's not all about studies. and we want to basically strengthen the network that we have with you guys. And I know that IBF and AMD will be doing your program separately, a different set of lecturers. So yes, this first month you all will be together, but then you all will separate. But during these sessions, again, we can collaborate and come together again to compare notes and see what we've basically experienced over the period of time.
I think just to add to what Jeremy says, when we are on campus, we have MBA, supply chain, project management, all of these things running parallel to each other, and we know each other in the batches, right? And there is a lot of collaboration, a lot of networking, lots of business that essentially happens within that network. And unfortunately, in these current circumstances, we are unable to bring you to that. But because these programs, whether it's banking and finance or AMD or aviation management, it's very industry specific. Growing your network becomes more and more important to your career progress, right? If we take supply chain, for example, we have about 250 alumni and currently about 100 students studying on it. I would say 70% of Sri Lanka's positions get circulated in supply chain positions get circulated within that group, because we have some very senior professionals in that. Whenever there is a opening, we just put it out into the group, and it essentially gets, we've had like circles where about 4 positions in 4 different companies have been shifts of our students. You know, one goes into one, the next one goes into the other, his position is filled by something. Like it's gone up to about 4 or 5 people. So we are foreseeing that happening in banking and finance and aviation 1 year from now, because as you progress, you will be joined by your junior batch, and in your 3rd semester also partly by part of your batch. So eventually when you finish your 1 year and you move out, you would know easily like 60 to 90 people. Some of them would be local, some of them would be internationally based, because all our London metropolitan programs are run in our campus here, and we'll be running our campus in Dubai, which is currently not operational because of the situation. So you'll have like a very wide network, and utilizing that network, getting to know each other, keeping abreast of what is happening, what are the developments, getting to know the Birmingham City alumni, which is about 500 to maybe about 700 people, right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
MBA, altogether, yeah, maybe more really. All of them put together. It's a huge network, and it's a network that's quite personal, right? Because we know everybody, and we want you guys also to know others, so that doors open for you going forward, and that network will become more and more important in the future to you, whether you are a banker looking to get a corporate account, or you are a aviation expert who's looking to move into an international sector, or you have a product that you want to sell into, maybe say Dialogue, for instance, because we would have the procurement guys of Dialogue within our network. So, you know, whatever it is, that network is very strong. And when you buy into Next, what you also buy into is that network. It's a closed network. It's a very connected network. And that's something that we don't market, because we don't want anybody and everybody coming into that network. Also, we are also very selective of who we bring on that network. But once you get there, there's a lot that you can benefit of it. Sorry, Jeremy, I'm taking your time.
No worries at all. Thanks, Kumudu. So yeah, so that will be something exciting, something, because I know we've got a lot of feedback where people have felt detached because it's virtual, but there's no reason to feel so. So we're going to make a lot of effort, take a lot of effort, so that you feel included, and although you might be at home or in a different country, you will feel very much part of us and enjoy this experience. So the first semester, there might have been a little bit of suspense as to how it will work out. So Dusty and Pasindu will be taking your first 2 subjects, and they will be teaching for 8 weeks, right? And then you will be doing your assessments. So it starts out with presentations immediately after you have been taught, and they will support you and give you some feedback on the presentation work. And then you have a study break, and then you will need to submit your report, which is usually, as you can see, 2,000 word assignment, and sometimes a little bit more, 2,500, right? So that is how it will work. For IBF, same thing, same kind of structure. You'll be doing international corporate finance and growth, trade and development first. Then thereafter, the other subjects, and right through you will be doing research methods, which again Rwanda will be taking you all through. And who will be teaching you all? So the first month is the same for both of you, both teams. And during the first semester, we have Ramesh Chitrasiri and Mr. Neil Hadapangoda, very experienced people from their relevant fields, who will be taking you all through these two subjects for banking and finance. All right. And by basically towards the latter part of the month, we will be giving you access to the material so that you all can access it and start studying and prepare for basically when those subjects will start. And looking very similar to the AMD module, you'll be having presentations. There are exams as well, and report submission towards the end. So I will share this with you. I don't want to go into detail and scare you all off because this is the serious stuff. But to give you all a taste and idea of what you're going to expect in terms of academics and how things will work out, how we will actually teach online, you have a taste of it firsthand because Rwanda is going to take you all through it in a moment. Just give me a second. I just want to share a little bit more with you all, just a teensy bit. Just to tell you all that we want to keep communication as formal as possible. So using the Moodle is encouraged, and anything else would go on an open group. I think usually we wouldn't like to use WhatsApp too much, but considering the situation, I think we might have groups. We'll come back to you on that. And you can always email me or ping me on my WhatsApp. I share my contact details with you all today so that you all can reach out to me, and any questions that you all have with regard to administration, you need to come to me and speak to me. So don't go to the lecturers directly. Please try to work through me when it's anything related to administration. And if you all have anything related to academics, of course, you have the Moodle, which you could always use to basically get in touch with them, and you can always ping them. All right. And best practices, I think Dusty covered most of this in a very elaborate sense. Take pride that you're doing a master's because it's a very respectable qualification, and many respectable persons from their relevant fields have this qualification and hold this with high regard, and you will be respected once you have this in your relevant professions. Write down and plan this year out. Keeping a little logbook. I actually, in my dissertation, I basically became accustomed and I took notes, and I had a little logbook that, ideas might come because your view of basically life and work as you know it broadens. That's what qualification education does. If you're really involved, it broadens your world view as you know it, and you learn new things, and there are certain new things that you like to kind of research and learn. And as I go along, as of even now, there are a lot of new things that I learn, that I note down, and I do research on. And you won't believe the amount of material and access to information that we have with YouTube and podcasts and basically the internet as a whole. So you will have access to literature. We will support you on that. Make use of this and keep writing down any ideas that you have, things that you'd like to ask your lecturers or me. And as you go along, think about what you want to do for your research, your final research. So this program gives you the opportunity to do that. You don't have to wait till the last semester. You can do that within your first, second, or even third. Start thinking about what you want to do as your research topic finally. Okay, so commit to the goal and don't try to do too much. Okay, so that I don't mean in the program. What I mean is in your life, you are free, of course, to do whatever you need to do, but be cautious as to how many things you take on. Don't ideally take on too many education programs if you're working with the masters. Of course, you have your freedom again, but if you're getting married, think about, be a little bit cautious about how you plan out the year. Because from my experience at Next, I have noticed that, people have taken on other commitments, and that doesn't work with their favor, and sometimes they have to pause the program because it is difficult to balance work and education together. It is very possible. It is very possible, and you can do it definitely, but you need to be cautious and plan out what you can and can't do over the year. All right. And keep us always in the loop if you ever face a difficulty. If you're sick, or if you have a lot of work project that takes a lot of your commitment, if you let me know, I will find a way to help you out. Okay. Finally, I would like you all to keep in touch more than in one way. So follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, because those can be lasting connections where you can always keep in touch with us in the future, even after, during the program and after you all are done. So with that being said, I am very, very enthusiastic and happy to work with you all, and look forward to it. And over to you, Rwandi. Do you all have any questions? I'm sorry. Any questions with regard to the schedule or anything like that?
Yeah, I think if it's very specific to your own thing, you can connect with Jeremy on a personal note. Jeremy, maybe you can put your email address and phone number down on the chat.
Yes.
But if it's in general regarding how the course is going, like Jeremy said, it's 1 month of academic skills. And why we are doing it is we have realized that people struggle in that first instance. So therefore we want to avoid that. Our experience has taught us that. So we are teaching them the academic skills so that you are ready for it when you start the course per se on 1st of September. So in terms of start date and end date, your real course starts on 1st of September and it ends on 31st of August next year. So 31st of August next year, you'll be done. Plan a party on 1st of September, because 31st night you'll be sleeping. Because you would have not slept for at least 4 days or 5 days by that point, doing your dissertation. So 1st of September, we can organize a party and kind of celebrate the whole thing. I can see Dimi and Sudesh already dressed to go to work. Well, not Sudesh, right? Dimi and Vidu dressed to, yes. Right. I think, Dimi, you guys can go off. Rwandi is going to just recap on what to expect in the next 4 weeks. But you can probably take Vidu through a little bit of it. It's more academic skills, all of those things. And anyway, the recordings will be available online. So whatever you all missed, you all can catch up on that. Yeah.
Quick question to you guys. The setting will basically follow what we did previously, right? Everything will be available on the Moodle, as in lectures and stuff. There'll be videos and the slides, everything will be on the Moodle, yes?
On the Moodle, yes. Dimi, we are doing something a little bit different. We're going to try and experiment something a little bit different, which is a flipped classroom style. Essentially, the videos will cover all the theory, everything that you need to learn, all that is there. But the classrooms per se will be more discussion about what did you learn from those videos? How can it be applied to your environment, right? Okay. So that's called flip teaching, where normal teaching is we teach you the theory in classroom, and then you go and do your application in your assessment, and essentially you struggle through your assessment because of that, because you can't connect the theory and the practice. Flipped classroom, which is more popular in terms of blended and distance learning, is you learn the theory, which is very straightforward in videos and in presentations, which we will upload as we go along. And in the classroom, we do like a more practical aspect of it. How does it apply to your work environment? Having said that, some RU will be following that to a certain extent, and the international batches will follow that to a certain extent, but locally it will be different. We would still have this, but then again, locally they'll have more face-to-face time and more interaction with the faculty doing that. So what I would suggest is engage with the Moodle and the videos every week. Whenever you have time, just go and listen, because it's important to keep connected. But everything would be available. All the recordings would be available online if you're not there for the physical session. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
any questions you guys have for the serious part, like Jeremy said?
Guys, one other thing, you all will form groups. Not everyone is here today, but we will be forming groups, and we need to basically we'll work out. We usually would like to allocate you, but if you all feel comfortable working with certain people, then we would do so. Since not everyone is here today, I don't think we can make the final groups. But once we make those groups, I suggest that you all work right through the year, because within those groups. So that is something that we really need to work out. So it's really important to teamwork is something that is really important within LMU, London Metropolitan University program. So
Quite, just to elaborate, add a little bit to what Jeremy said, there is a growing tendency of using ghostwriters, meaning you outsource your assessments, right? And that is a huge conversation in UK right now. And UK has brought in a law saying that 40% of your assessments need to be in what you call in person, meaning we need to see you doing that assignment. It can't be written at home. So as a result, group presentations, individual presentations, exams, poster presentations, all of those have become a part of the whole assessment process. So it's not fully assignment based. 60% will be assignment based. Balance will be other forms of interaction. And mostly, to keep it manageable at master's level, it's mostly a group. So that's where that group is important. You guys need to meet outside of these sessions, have your own talking sessions, whether it is physical, virtual, it doesn't matter. My entire group is in UK, so I do all virtual sessions. I know it's possible. So, but keeping in contact with your group and keeping connected is a very important part of the process. Right, so I think we'll move on to Ruandi. Have a good day at work, guys, for those who are going off to work. We'll move on to Ruandi, so because I think I'm a bit conscious of time right now. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to keep this short. So, Dimi and Vidu, feel free to, hang on as soon as, long as possible, but it's okay. Like I said, we're free to go whenever you have to. Okay, so guys, I think we spoke a lot today. So I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'm just going to take you through some of the key things that I think you should familiarize yourself with, especially since you're going to be having 4 weeks of something that I know a lot of people have this mental barrier against. Okay, so let's talk about the academic section in a little bit. But I basically call a master's, whether it's MBA or MSc, it's a place where you learn to learn. Why I say this is, okay, maybe 25 years ago, we needed to hear things from lecturers. If you wanted to know the ANSOP's metrics, you had to hear it from someone who can teach you that. But nowadays, anything and everything is learned. I mean, you can learn it on your own. And especially for a master's, for an MSc, we are not going to teach you rocket science. Even rocket science is now teachable via like a video, right? Things have gotten so simple. But the problem is, with all this information that you have, made videos or blogs or tweets or whatever, most of us have a little bit of a difficulty getting to know exactly what our learning style is and basically learning how to learn. Because I think if you master learning how to learn, you can master anything, right? Because I think COVID was a really good eye-opener for us, because overnight we had to learn how to do personally for me, overnight I had to learn how to do a lecture online. And my first lecture online was really, I was shaking after it because I knew it was not good, right? Because I was so nervous. And so basically we had 1 week to turn it around, and hopefully we have come a long way now. So now I'm actually looking forward to lecturing online. But that's the whole thing. So mastering how you learn and knowing how to learn really takes you a long way. Of course, like Komudu and Jeremy said, during this entire course for you, whether it's aviation or whether it's banking and finance, we're not going to teach you anything that you don't know.
I mean, you guys are the experts in the industry. I mean, for banking and finance, my knowledge goes to the extent of being a customer. And when it comes to aviation, again, not so much. Again, customer. And when I was at John Keel's, I used to sell DCSs and IBEs and baggage handling systems. So yeah, I know a little bit in that end, but that was like some time ago. So our knowledge is really limited, but what we can bring to the table is basically how you, I mean, when it's for the aviation guys, you're learning aviation management in a digitized way. I think that's amazing. So that's something that we can help you with, and you guys. So basically it has to be a very engaging conversation, because I think anyone who has done an MSc or MBA prior can tell you, you learn this much from your lecturer, this much on your own, and this much from everyone else around you. So that's where, you will find different ways to learn, guys. So anyway, more on this as we go on. I thought I would like to share this with you. Since recently I have had a very big liking for national geography. I told you, when it comes to me, I like, change my focus, everywhere, because I always want like a lot of diversification in my life. So I was reading this very interesting article. It said that when National Geography did a study, they found out that the hippocampus, right, the hippocampus is basically where you store memories, information in your brain. They have found that in London, the hippocampus of taxi drivers are literally bigger than the hippocampus of bus drivers. Now, improving your hippocampus is not a simple thing to do. It means you're physically, physiologically putting more brain cells into use. So why are the taxi drivers having a bigger hippocampus? It's because unlike bus drivers who go the same route every day, the taxi drivers have to go on a different route every time. So what they have learned from this is, see, most of us are, like Dusty said, we love to be in a comfort zone. We love to keep on doing what we are doing because it feels good. We know it. We're the masters of it. We are in control of it. But what happens is, the more you do something without changing, without expanding, the less you do it better. So I always like to challenge, the way you do things. I mean, even yourselves. I mean, most of you have like amazing years of experience, and this is so good because you can have so many different perspectives from this MSc. If you look at it from side A and B, maybe hopefully we'll tell you how to look at it from side S, T, and W, right? So I think one thing you have to promise yourself and commit to is going into uncharted territory during these 13 months. Maybe it's going to be innovation. Maybe it's going to be a little bit on AI. Maybe it's going to be a little bit on finance. Maybe it's, things that you hate to do, like as academic writing. Anything that's going to challenge you, because that's the only way you're going to expand. Like Jeremy said, develop kind of like a broader view of life. So I really hope that the 13 months is going to be like life-changing for you. I'm sure it will. It just needs a commitment and basically a drive. Nothing rocket science again. So I just want to take you through a little bit of terminology, which you will keep on hearing again and again during these 13 months. And guys, the biggest thing is, we all know this unfreeze, change, refreeze strategy when it comes to learning. Right? If you want to learn, you have to let go of every assumption, every predetermined notion, every thought process that you already had, and you have to go back to ground zero. Right? This is very important. So I personally do this because I think that if I think of the same thing in the same way for, let's say, a month, that means I'm missing something. So the first thing you have to do is develop the ability to question everything. I'll be talking to you about critical reflection. I think Kumudu also mentioned it. It kind of gives you, critical always has a very negative tone to it. But you will learn that critical reflection is where you're going to question everything, even the things that you thought were the way to do it. So I hope that we can all practice this unfreeze, change, and refreeze thing, and keeping on unchanging and unfreezing and refreezing. So it's I would say it's a mindset change, and I'm sure you guys will become more and more fluid and agile about this as we go on. So talking about terminology, right? I know academic qualifications. A lot of my students, they ask me, why should we be academics, or why should we do an academic qualification? Isn't it just, for our professors in like dusty libraries where they keep, doing things that can never be, practiced in the real world? So I think academics has, the word academic has actually gotten a lot of negative connotations, because every time we think of academics, we think of, very theory heavy, very, very strict, very, university typical boring stuff. But what it actually means is, guys, while learning how to learn, it's all about developing a discipline in you. So when you do an academic, you kind of learn, okay, you learn theory, you learn practice, you learn theory and practice, you learn how the knowledge was evolved, you learn how to learn so that you are a master at whatever you want to be at. So while I hope you will all like the academic sessions that we're going to have for 4 weeks, so where like Kumud said, it's going to be a flipped classroom, so where you will have so much of I would say material available to you, and when we do meet in class, I hope to do a lot of exercises with you. I know not a lot of people love to write, not a lot of people like to read, but hopefully we can come to some kind of an equilibrium there. So when you're learning how to learn, the first two things, holistic thinking and third party perception, this helps a lot, because see, in this MSc you will look at every function in the two industries, whether be banking or aviation, from a very third party perspective, from a very bird's eye perspective. Because basically just think of it as you being on 2D and then suddenly becoming 3D, so that you can see the whole. So improving this holistic thinking in you is going to be very easy, because we have so many people from different sides of the industry. So I think this is going to be fun, because you're going to be exposed to things that the other person is doing or the other function is doing. So when all of these parts become a whole, I think the synergy is going to be just amazing. We spoke of team learning. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but basically it's the way to go, guys, because again, I think all of you combined, we have like close to 50, 60, or maybe even 75 years of experience. Maybe that I think is just like a really big untapped vat of information and experience there. Transferable skills. So like I said, we won't be teaching you like, technical, like how to do things, but we'll be teaching you ways to upskill yourself, reskill yourself, like Dusty mentioned, and to adapt to whatever is the new norm. It might be what's happening today. It might be how to be relevant in 5 years. But transferable skills will be everything from being technologically literate, being agile, being fluid, being good communicators, leadership skills, critical reflection, crisis management. So these are things which you already will have some kind of an exposure to, but will help you see it in a different perspective and help you kind of develop these on your own as well. Critical reflection. You're going to be hearing this word like all the time for the next year. Critical reflection is basically, see, when we were kids, we are very used to listening, learning, taking down notes, accepting whatever we hear as true. But critical reflection kind of gets you to ask the question, so what? I mean, anything you read, anything you find, or anything you learn, you should be able to ask the question, so what? What does this mean? Do I agree with this? Do I not agree with this? How did this come to be? Can I take this as credible? If this is this, then how can this relate to everything else that I've known so far? So just like we are going to be doing those reflective beer sessions with you, you will hopefully be you will get to know how to critically reflect on your own learning, because for me that's the best way to grow. Otherwise you're just taking in information, but we want you to question the information. We want you to master the information by always questioning, asking the right questions. The next two things, they're very technical, if I may say so myself. Learning outcomes. You're going to be hearing this word a lot as well. So I'm not going to scare you with all of this now, but what we mean by a learning outcome is for all of your courses, for all of your modules, you will see this word learning outcomes, and you will be assessed against them. So what is a learning outcome? It is basically what you will be learning in that particular area, in that particular module, and what you will be able to do after you finish the module. So learning outcomes are very essential when you're doing an academic qualification, because for your exams, for your assignments, you will be tested against your learning outcome. At the end of the module, you will ask yourself, have I achieved the learning outcomes? Can I do what the module said that I could do now? Assessments, of course, let's keep it for another day. But of course, assessments are an essential part to learning, as you will, of course, experience firsthand. And I hope you have a very colorful array of assessments, which I think is really good, because variety is the spice of life. So you will get to know how to do an academic poster, an essay, what's the difference between a report and an essay. And of course, when you do research methodology with me, we'll be talking about the proposal and of course the biggest thing of all, the dissertation. So assessments are going to be part and parcel of the journey, guys. And also every assessment is not for us to grade you, but every assessment is for you to get feedback. So I think that's a very important element. We'll be giving you feedback in class. We'll be giving you feedback individually as a group, because I think that's the best way to learn. And of course, my two favorite words everywhere: constant vigilance. See, guys, when you say that you have a master's in something, people expect you to be a master in something. And right now, it's literally impossible for everyone to be updated about everything. Why? Because everything happens so fast, right? I mean, today you might be an aviation profession, but you are expected to know something on sustainability. You are expected to know something on AI. You're expected to have a view of what climate change is, right? The spectrum of knowledge that you are expected to know in order to get on with the world, get on with the new norm is just endless. So I know people have transformed when doing a master's at Next. They've gone from not even reading a novel to reading like a journal article every week. So I would welcome you to start that habit of reading. If you're not a reader, become a listener. There's so many podcasts out there. If you're not a listener, if you want audio visual, tune into TED Talks. This is all a transformation journey for you. So like Kumulu said, we'll not be teaching you everything, but we'll teach you how to learn. There'll be a vect of information out for you. I'll also be updating the Moodle quite often with whatever articles that I find useful, and just keep on building a bigger and broader perspective of the world. It can be about anything. A little bit about academic skills, guys. So, okay, Kumudu words this very nicely. She says that you don't fail an MSc because you don't know, because you know stuff. But the difficulty that people have is kind of developing how to show what you know in the way the university wants, right? So that's where the academic skills program, the session will be useful to you, because we'll be taking you through from simple things like how to write an assignment, how to write academically, to how to do a critical reflection, basically how to develop a discipline that is going to take you through the entire MSc. So I know it sounds boring, but at the end of it, I'm sure you will understand it's a little bit more than age-old boring professor-like writing. it's going to be a self-discipline course for you, so that you know exactly what kind of style fits you best when you learn. Because I personally think no one can literally fail an MSc. If you want to fail an MSc, you have to try really hard, right? Because there's nothing called failing an MSc. But you can even get your MSc into your hands and still feel like you failed if you don't transform. So it's very easy. It's very important that you balance the whole self-transformation along with the assessments, because it's a journey, guys. It's a journey with a really good destination. So I know that you guys will all commit to getting there. So during my sessions, we'll be covering a lot of things. I'll talk to you about everything from writing to researching to how to do a critical reflection, critical review, and of course, when I do the research methodology session with you, I will guide you through the dissertation, so that when next year comes, we will have a lot of interesting researchers to be working with. So what I thought, as a fitting end to today, I think we've been keeping you guys for quite a while, but indulge me in about 15 more minutes, guys. I want to give you a taste of the weeks to come. We'll be working a lot in groups in class. I love this breakout room part of Zoom. It's my favorite kind of function on the Zoom platform. So what I wanted to do is, I will divide the class into two, and I want you to have a discussion, a brief discussion. You know who you are now. It's better to get to know exactly what kind of goals that you guys have for the MSc, and also the kind of challenges that you perceive. So I'll give you about 5 or 10 minutes to have a little discussion in your own groups. And if you can help me compile a list of your own learning goals and your own learning challenges, because these two go hand in hand. If you look at this picture here, it's Mount Everest, right? Mount Everest is for someone who wants to climb the mountain. The mountain is both the goal and the challenge. You're talking about climbing 29,000 feet of rocky, snowy, kind of the hardest terrain on earth, which is your goal, and that is exactly your challenge, right? So I hope that we can all minimize our challenges, but to minimize the challenges of learning, you have to know what the challenges of learning are. So let's just do a little group discussion and see how things are from others' perspectives as well. So I think Jeremy will help me out. We have how many in the class today?
We have a total of 16 students. So
Perfect.
I'll be opening the rooms now, and you will also be allocated to the room. So Kumdu in one and Rwanda in the other.
So guys, we spend about 10 minutes together in the group, and then we'll come back to the main session. So when you're in the group, have a discussion with everyone. List down, like, somebody can list it down, 4 to 5 goals that you guys can outline, and of course 4 to 5 challenges and how you plan to overcome them. All right, so Jeremy, all yours.
All right, guys. You all will get a request to join the room. You need to just accept it, and then you will be entered into a breakout room. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. See you then on the other side.
See you.